Today I want to talk about using ORC, Parquet, and Avro files in Data Lake, particularly as we're extracting data with Data Factory and loading it to files in Data Lake. And so to start, I want to show a screenshot of how we can set up a connection to a text file from Data Factory. And when we create a connection to a text file, we have these choices of file format. And the three that I've highlighted here, the Avro, ORC, and Parquet, are what I want to talk about today. Now, it's important to understand that Azure Data Lake really is an implementation of Apache Hadoop. And as such, ORC, Parquet, and Avro are actually projects also within the Apache ecosystem. And so these were built on top of Hadoop with Hadoop in mind, really. I mean, they were kind of one and the same in a lot of ways. Now, all three of these file formats were developed with the primary goal of improving query performance. So if I've got data in one of these file formats, the idea was that if we query it, my query results will be faster than anything that had been available before. All three really focus on using compression. So they've got different compression algorithms, and that's really in summary, how all three gain that performance. So ORC and Parquet do it a little bit differently than Avro, but the end result, or the end goal anyway, is very similar. One of the primary differences with Avro that you'll see is that Avro does include the schema definition of your data as JSON text that you can actually see in the file, but otherwise it's all in a compressed format. And if you've got data in either of these three formats, we can use Data Factory to read that out of Data Lake. A couple other features of these types of files as compared to text files and JSON files is that if we're reading data from a source system, it's more flexible as far as text formatting. And so specifically, we don't have to choose column delimiters, row delimiters, or text qualifiers. And we've worked with a couple of clients specifically where we're pulling data from Salesforce, and this is not exclusive to Salesforce, but Salesforce does have a lot of fields that have large text values, and it's really hard to load that data into a text file without running into problems with delimiters, etc. And so using ORC, Parquet, or Avro is a way around that. Now, I ran just a very small test here, and I want to show you the results of this on this next screenshot here. And I just had a really simple table in a SQL database with a couple hundred rows, and I just dumped the contents of that table to the 5 file formats that are available from Data Factory when we load to Data Lake. And just wanted to highlight the size of these. Now again, this is a pretty small file, but you can see that when I load to ORC and Parquet, that the file size is considerably smaller than the other three. The Avro file is kind of not a great example here because again, I've got a pretty small data set. So in this example, it kind of compares size-wise to the .text file. But at any rate, you'll see that the JSON file is still not surprisingly pretty large. So the takeaway here is that ORC and Parquet are very highly compressed, and that's going to lead to fast query performance. I hope you found this information useful. If you have any questions about these file types or your Azure Data Lake or Data Factory, please reach out, let us know.